2010 proposed ambulance district vote.
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. At present, we are scheduled to have a vote on June 29th for the establishment of a ambulance service district within the town of Rotterdam. The vote is presently scheduled for 8 a.m. in the morning to 8 p.m. at night in Town Hall, right inside the boardroom here. As far as the process to go and vote, right now the number one requirement, the way voting is going to be structured is people at the polls are going to have a list of all the property owners within the town of Rotterdam. Only property owners are eligible to vote in the election. Poll workers will have a list of property owners. You come in and you need to demonstrate that you are in fact the person whose name is on the list. Photo identification should be good enough. In the event that right now we're speaking about an individual, in the event that there's some discrepancy as to, maybe a name change, somebody who got married from the time that they purchased the property to when they're voting, you need to show some form of identification, such as a deed, to indicate that you are in fact the owner of that property. The process of clarification, we're going to have the assessor's office open as well from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. that day. In the event that there are discrepancies, we can clarify them. And myself and Mr. Licardi will be present that day as well, to work as a kind of a determining entity. Joe, do you want to talk about the way corporations and LLCs and what are going to...
Yeah, under the appropriate section of town law, the voting provided for this special district, this service district, allows one vote per person regardless of the number of properties owned. So for instance, should a person, a resident, own 20 or 30 properties in the town of Rotterdam, that individual would get one vote. Similarly, if there are more than one owners of a single property, such as a husband and wife, 3 or 4 brothers and siblings, each one of them, which would own a fractional interest, they would each get a vote. If the property is owned by a recognized legal entity, such as a corporation, an LLC, a trust, an estate, any of those types of entities, again, one vote regardless of the number of properties that entity may own. In the event there is such an entity that owns a piece of property, we would ask that the person voting on behalf of that entity produce something indicating that they are an agent of that corporation. For example, a resolution, a copy of the page of the corporate books, or the minutes showing that they are an officer of the corporation. If you're a trustee or an executor of an estate, there are letters that are issued by the surrogate court, something to indicate that that person has the status to vote as the agent of that legal entity. The date by which the law provides for the status of ownership is the date of the last current assessment roll having been established. At this time, that date is the 1st of May. So as of May 1st, the assessor prepared the current roll, and it would be all owners of record as of the 1st of May. And by record we mean having found the deed having found its way to the assessor, and the assessor having entered that name of that owner on the assessment roll, which was published as of May 1st.
Okay. Privilege of the floor for personnel.